Hey guys and girls, it's Lok, and I'm back again to talk about my next workout. So, for this one, it was my light day for my squats, and before I even delve into it, you can see me speeding up the foam rolling process. I tend to enjoy foam rolling before doing some squats, especially if I'm feeling quite tight on the day. I usually try and do some at home as well if possible beforehand or even before bed. I find that it helps me sleep quite well as well. So I definitely recommend using a foam roller to help with your stretching regimen. But anyways, this is my first working set just about now. 85 kilos for 7 reps. It's quite light. It's only 60% of my calculated 1 rep max. So I'm really focusing on the speed and making sure that every rep still has speed on the bar, because I find that if I try and focus on putting speed onto the bar, if I can move a certain weight faster, even if it's the same weight and I haven't actually increased the amount of weight on the bar, if I can move it faster based on force equals mass times acceleration, it would mean that I've created more force and therefore I should theoretically be stronger. I ran this style of program a year and a half ago, and I actually squatted 4 days a week, so I would have one heavy, light, medium day, and then I'd also add a specific speed day. So theoretically I would have had 2 light days, but now I'm only squatting 3 days a week, so my light day is essentially sort of my speed day too. So I'm just making sure that the form is good, but I'm also managing to create as much force as I can every rep. So moving on, this is my warm-up for my bench press. I worked up to 97.5 kilos for 4 sets of 4. 97.5 kilos is 80% of my calculated 1 rep max. So my bench press day was heavy because I alternate between light and heavy between the squats and bench. So on the next workout, I'll be doing a heavy squat workout, which means that my bench day will be lighter. I find that this allows me to recover better over time. And as I mentioned previously in my last video, it's very important to manage your fatigue. A lot of people, especially in the intermediate level, struggle with this. I struggle with this all the time. It doesn't help that. Do you remember when CT Fletcher came out with this video about how there's no such thing as overtraining? Well, with all due respect to CT Fletcher, he's an absolute monster, but there's so much science and literature to suggest that overtraining and overreaching does exist, especially if you're a natural athlete. So I would highly recommend managing your fatigue by using an appropriate program that works best for you. I find, again, auto-regulation is one of the best. I like auto-regulating it as well as daily undulating periodization. That's what I found to not only allow me to maximize my progress, but also manage my fatigue so I can also carry out my daily activities. I can say I really enjoy my programming right now. I don't find that I'm exhausted after every workout, which is what I used to feel like, especially when you finish running strong lifts 5x5 and you start to plateau. You have this idea that you have to train really hard every workout, and you don't actually end up making much progress. And I'm pretty certain most people will say the same. I find that most powerlifters that I've spoken to who have made a lot of progress tend to work with quite submaximal loads. And I am a big fan of that as well. You'll find that your joints don't feel as sore after every session too, and that's also really important and key to longevity. Now rolling up is my assistant's work. I don't really do a lot of accessory work. I find that I'm pretty tired after my compound lifts and movements already, but I threw in some glute ham raises. My posterior chain is relatively weak in comparison to the anterior side of my lower body. So I try to focus on my glutes and hamstrings whenever possible. So I did 3 sets of 8 of glute ham raises with 10 kilo plates. I'm actually quite sore after this. So I don't really need that many sets for hamstrings to feel quite sore. So I tend to steer clear of doing too much accessory work for my hamstrings. And here you can see I call this the machine seal row. I'm sure there's a better name for this contraption, but well, this is what I call it. And I just did 4 sets of 12, pretty light. The RPE was super low for all my accessories. And yeah, that was my workout. So I'll speak to you all soon. Take care.